Just when you think that 2023 can't get any stupider, man, we look at the YSL Young Thug case, which is currently going on. Jeffery Williams, aka Young Thug, is currently under these charges, and he's currently trying to fight off a Rico case.
We might just get hit with the Rico. Me Millie.
Which we all know, once you get hit with that Rico, you're done. So the prime example of why people don't rely on the justice system is just because court is just like a big joke.
Girl, you're thinking of a bowl of oatmeal.
Court is honestly just a big meme at this point. Like, look, for instance, look at Young Thug's lawyer. His name is Brian Steele. He sounds like a custom character you would get in like any of like your Saints Row games or something like that. Like, I imagine he flips off of like trucks in the air and stuff like that later on. But Brian Steele, before a judge, before all the people on a live stream during this case, which is probably one of the biggest cases for an artist in the last like 5 years, besides P. Diddy, but we're not gonna talk about him. But he stands up before the courtroom and proudly proclaims that Young Thug's name stands for truly humbled under God.
And help his family, himself, and as many others out of this endless cycle of hopelessness. He would be truly humble under God. That's what thug means.
Huh? If that's not the biggest reach I've ever heard in my life. First off, this is the same man you're saying truly humbled under God that writes songs like this.
Who taught you little niggas ain't with this shit? Who taught you that? Pull up and hop out with dirty sticks.
And this.
People listen to it. Hey, I'm banging blood. I could never flew it.
And also takes pictures like this. And also pictures like this. So I don't know if that means he's humbled under God. It seems like this man is a crime boss, you know, the big slime, you know, the big leader of this gang. By all means, it gets even worse because they say that the blood symbol that Young Thug throws up is actually an upside down P, and the P stands for pushing positivity.
Pushing P. And it's positivity. It means any circumstance you're in, if you think positively about something, you can make it through.
Like, as we get further and further on in this case, it's like at this point, the jurors just need to say, like, this is all a joke. These dudes are clearly criminals and they're trying everything that they can to, you know, prove that he's innocent, which is horrible. Then you have another lawyer come up in the case and she gets up and starts talking about Bleach.
This reminds me of this anime named Bleach, where it's 16 seasons. Every episode is about 18, 20 episodes. Sorry, every season is 18 to 20 episodes. And they have season 4 and 5. They have these bounce. They're the villains of the whole thing in season 4 and season 5.
What does anime have to do with the organized crime? This is stupid. First off, anybody that ever gets up and says that, yeah, my client's not guilty. Yeah, he did all that, but my client was a side character.
You go to season 6, you don't hear about the bounce. You go to season 7, you don't hear about the bounce. Why don't you hear about these important characters? Because they're filler characters. It's a filler season. Me and Rodalius, we're fillers. We're not integral to this story. They just dragged him out of prison to jail to make this bigger than it has to be. We're basically distractions. So, as a juror, what can you do to tell the state, we're not gonna be distracted. We don't need to listen to filler. You come back at the end of this with a not guilty for Rodalius Ryan. You tell them we do not want to waste our time on fillers. We just want to get to substance. So I guess sit back, enjoy the show, get some popcorn, because this is not justice, this is a circus. Thank you.
That's why you shouldn't be focused on him. Don't focus on side characters. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It doesn't matter if you're a side character, a background character, a foreground character, the character, you're still involved in the crime. It doesn't matter if you played a small part or a big part, you're still a part of the crime. You're still guilty. And even then, by her admitting that, you admit that he's guilty of the crime. You just said, yeah, he did the crime, but he just wasn't as big as Young Thug when he did the crime, which is still admission of guilt. This whole court case is just stupid. Honestly, I feel like Aiden Ross in this situation.
Thug! Lock him up! He's a thug! Lock him up! Solitary confinement! Put him in there!
Because at the end of the day, this is just all a bunch of nonsense, and the justice system seems to be more and more of a joke as we keep going on. When we have Brian Steele and Bleach arcs being talked about in a case where people have been terrorized by gang violence, had their careers ruined by YSL influence, and the youth that have been inspired by YSL's horrible presentation of a good life. At the end of the day, this is an organized crime unit. This is not a game, and this is way bigger than music at this point.
Because most people think about a thug as a criminal. But to Jeffrey, thug had a different meaning.